Yeah.
Hopefully,
We'll get it, it'll be good. So, before I start, I had a little bit of a public service message regarding pumpkin spice. Every day, thousands of pumpkins sit shriveled up in a field somewhere without their spice. Have you seen a pumpkin like this? It's just not nice. So please, before you order, think about it, and let's stop pumpkin suffering today. Seriously, I have two pieces. The first one I literally wrote this morning. So this is the first time I've actually read it. I read it in the car today to myself, but it's called Vagabond Love. Small towns. I've been to many of them. Sat in groups of lifelong friends, drinking bourbon, breaking bread. Unfamiliars hanging on every word I said. See, they never leave the street. Their asphalt, the bricks they live in, and the ones underneath their feet. So I'm something different, an escape for them, to live vicariously through without ever having to cross the edge or pass through the city limits flu. Oh, they want to know what's on the other side. They question and dangle on every inflection before retreating to their pits of safety to hide, away from the world's infections. And while they never stray, they strain to see the life I live and how it has unfolded for me, and they believe. And I can be anyone, and they don't care. To them, I am the reprieve, the break from monotony, from programmed regurgitation, and that's all they see. But to me, those towns, those small towns, the blue collars, the bartenders, the preachers, the freaks, the residential blenders, the markets and banks, and roadside wells, and cafes and thrift shops, filling stations and holding cells, town halls and churchy bells are more. Those places, their places, the ones I visit alone, and what they may never understand is that all of those small towns, those small town people, are my forever home. Literally 15 minutes this morning, it's like in touch with the universe. 7 of those 15, I was literally on the toilet. Sorry. TMI. All right, so this next one I wrote last week is called Forward. After I die, I wonder, will the world be better or worse? Will someone carry on my words, verse after verse, alliterating letter upon letter the way the spill was intended? How the lines rhyme and non-rhymes befriended? Will anyone see the words and feelings that came out of me had purpose? To bolster people's beliefs, to give insight toward a better world, and if for a fleeting moment, to apply a needed reprieve. A break from the drugs and the crime and the unemployment lines, from abuse and violence, anxiety and reticence, from homelessness and depression, grief and regression and relapse and doing time, overthinking in their manic minds, a vacation from their nature darkly, fear, social media, the news, and tainted information unwise? Or will everything just stay the same? Toxic patterns of trauma, name-calling, poverty, and misplaced blame, active social discord, starving for connections gained, fake news, sensationalized trials, a never-ending cycle of misery, suffering, and bile. Shampooing, lather, rinse, repeat again and again, over and over, without ever getting over it. The overdoses, the death, the cold nights, the concrete pillows, the never rights, the black eyes, the never good enoughs, the whys, uncertainty, lost dignity, too fat, too skinny, too blonde, too black, the loose understanding of infinity, and the loss of self and distance from divinity, and the never-ending strife. Yeah. While I'm still alive, though, here in this life, this is the shit that keeps me up at night. Thank you.
very good. Thank you, James.
Well, that is really a neat tradition there.
Yeah. And so, James, though, not cleaner than last time when there was a 10-year-old. Today you could have just let her run fly. Actually, it wasn't too bad last time. Okay, so next up, here we have Gary. Gary, if you want to say your last name, I was going to Sanoa. Yeah. Come on up. I actually met Gary a couple weeks ago, and come on up in Fond du Lac. And yeah, what was the book fair? Very nice conversation with him. He has a long history of being in journals and stuff. So about a couple of those things. You're good. Come on, Gary.
Okay, I'm going to read two from my newest collection called Wish You Were Here. The first one called End of the Line. Long about midnight, the darkness throbs around the ears like water pressure when you're far below the surface. For a locomotive that throbs down the tracks, rips up rails of sound and hurls them at the moon. Then you'll know what it is to bury yourself true in someone's heart, hell bent for nowhere. It's called Russian Roulette. I was thinking about that one day, and then just those words came to me, and that sparked the title. Russian Roulette. When you go out dressed in black, you're expecting death halfway in the eyes of the next person you see, staring down the barrel of a loaded revolver. Each life chamber, another night in your life that didn't go on. Thank you.
Good job. All right. Next up, we have Katrina. Katrina, you come up and read Holmes for us.
Katrina, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
I have two to read. The first one is called The Pain. These windows are dead, painted over black. They used to shine so clear. Look at them now. The pathetic mask failing. Look at them now. What do you see? Do you see what they yearn, or do you see reality? Musted and dusty, cracked and dry wooden frames. A stale air surrounds them, voiding any life. Cobwebs all over the surface, dead arachnids hanging from ancient webs. The view outside is just as bleak. An overcast day, the clouds span the sky. No hint of sun, nor trace of warmth. A chilling that seeps into the pores of bone marrow. A few dead trees scattered the yard. A swing hanging onto a broken limb. Only one rope holds on. The seat is cracked wood. How it used to shine. These useless years have shown quadruple the time. Cracked and brittle, like the wind that blows. Damp, dismal, and frigidly cold. Nothing else is in sight now. All the abandoned houses were torn down and razed. A vast plain, full of short, orange-red, orange-brown, dead grass. Somewhere under that swing lies a cold, dead, too young lass. Second one is called The Cradle. When the dawn breaks, an angel will fall. The dawn of darkness, the dawn of life. The suffocation of the wind, too strong to fight. Too stupid to be a bending blade of grass, rather than a mighty breaking oak tree. The more proud, the more the demise. Proud and alone, to fight utter savagery. Scars and cuts unyielding. The dawn will break. Everything bathed in the pink rose of the bleeding sunlight. Everything to be unshadowed, with fire burst pure. Stand tall as the day comes, unyielding angel. The dawn wind fiercely, tossing her hair. The fierce steel of her eyes, protective of herself and the life within. May the dawn challenge, may the angel fall into victory.
Thank you, Katrina. That was Awesome. Thank you for coming. And I just want to say a little bit about the Poet Laureate program. It was started by Mayor Palmieri. She was inspired by Amanda Gorman. And it was during the COVID, the quarantine stuff. So I was really focused on social media. And so that's why I started recording these shows. And you can see them at Thomas Cannon Author on YouTube. But there is something to not having it on there. You know, like why Muddy DG's poems, let's hear it right from him. It doesn't do him justice. But for some of us, it's nice to be able to have something and share it. And then, so let's kind of spread out poetry, get the word out. Let's share at least on social media. Let's share poetry events on social media. Let's join poetry groups. I do have Poet Laureate of Oshkosh Facebook group. We can talk about it, share poetry, share the written poetry, and just share beliefs and feelings about it. And maybe some cute memes. And now we have somebody I've been to every open mic. Tom Butt, please come on up. Your turn.
Excuse me. As an official member of the silent generation, I appreciate the opportunity to be heard. This first poem is a poetical polemic dealing with space exploration. It's called, Is There Battery Life on Mars? It's a scientific obscenity and a criminal high-tech act of sadism to send humans to Mars. The Red Planet has, as all hard-tipped data declares, is only fit terrain for lusty rocks and silicone-bred robots. On Mars, online, a robot outperforms any vulnerable and contingent carbon-based life form, mechanical hands down. No sleep number bed needed. Adios to any Taco Tuesday. Oxygen only required for flat tires. Like, does it always have to be about mankind? All that first man on that, first man on this jazziness? And the robots don't have to look like Professor Gizmo's tinny clunkers. Thanks to Tokyo Roll, General Electric, and Hawaiian Tan, our inorganic pioneers will look entirely human, maybe more so. They will glow. So when the Martian Nightly News broadcasts to Earth bounders, Terrans will see beautiful and handsome youth playing flawless volleyball in shining canals. At the same time, stylish and commercially viable Martians gather to watch Survivor's Island, beamed from Earth, laughing their soft plastic asses off. This next one is a political poem. Alligator people, the civil rights years. Identifiable by their short arms, jutting jawlines, black liquid eyes, and scaly bald heads, alligator people are yet human, all too human, like 100% DNA proof. They walk amongst us, not exactly walk, they slide by us, prone to the ground. They sidle smoothly along, ever keen on finding a body of water to submerge into with amphibious grace and skillful wobble. Alligator people work hard, usually in excavation, lawn care, and sanitation trades. They live next door in ranch-style homes, unique with dining room pools. They pay formidable taxes and go to church, where they lay their weedy bodies under the pews. to hear again the precious and uplifting words of the lowest among you shall be the greatest. Amen and amen. Give Gators a vote. That's what is about communication. Don't give me a quotation. Tell me what you know. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Quotations make that. Great quotations are the notable distillations of the world's wit and wisdom. Great quotations span millennia from I came, I saw, I conquered to I should have stood in bed. But what about the unrecorded verbalizations of long, long ago? What was a premier, pithy, and powerful utterance that had legs? I suggest that the judgmental, deep and visceral word ugh, if it's still a word, and it still is, exclamation point, yet worse. Notably, war is ugh, cancer is ugh, old age is ugh, racism is ugh, misogyny is ugh, pro-life is ugh, religion is ugh, science, well, that's half the ugh. So thanks to those very distant folks for their three-letter gem of disapproval, disgust, and loathing. And thinking of millenniums gone and come, it's time I offer up my own memorable remark. I came, I saw, I should have stood in bed. I know,
Thank you. Next up is Patrick McCorkle. Patrick McCorkle is very involved in the writing community here in Oshkosh.
As I like to say, I was born and raised in the 5491 and really haven't, maybe went a mile from where I was born. So I'm somewhat not well traveled. But I have a few poems tonight. The first one is inspired by the recent events in a certain voting body in our nation's capital. I don't really have a title for it, but here it is. Jim wanted to be House Speaker, but the GOP didn't want him as their keeper. After 3 climactic voting bouts, the old wrestler got wrestled out. The co-founder of the Freedom Caucus received a taste of his own ruckus. There's no room for claims of fraud, which some did and do applaud. What goes around comes around, especially those who ambition drown. Maybe now old Jim will have more affection for procedures called elections. Here's another poem inspired by recent events, a certain sports team owner asking for funding. The title is Take Me Out to My New Stadium. Mark was baseball mad, had the fever, and had it bad. He brought the Brewers in 04, giving Bud Selig a nice score. In 23, Ruff was American Family Field. So to the politicians, Mark appealed. His friend Robin asked, would you like some money? Mark replied, yes, and I'll tell you what to do, honey. Mark wanted to cover all 162 games without knowing all the taxpayer names. Told the public they'd be wrong if they didn't pass their money along. To make them come through, Mark knew what he had to do. To cheer up the owners he knew, he sang this song until his face was blue. Take me out, Milwaukee, take me out, Madison. Buy me some upgrades and repairs. I don't care how the state budget fares, it's fun. Fun, fun, my stadium. If you don't, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 subsidies, and you're out of the old stadium game. And the final poem is more of a creed. It comes from my the fantasy world that I'm writing. It's sort of a distillation kind of some of my beliefs, but I've altered some of the language, more for a general use. So it would be entitled The Stewardship Creed. I do not forget Storm, fire, and lightning grant me life. Air and wind fill my lungs. Water and fluid comprise my blood. Earth, rock, and stone support my frame. Flora and fauna nourish me. Sapience enhances me. I do not forget. To be wise is to regard oneself as all and all as oneself. To be just is to be impartial under every condition. To be sane is to be content through good or ill. To be healthy is to abandon torrid passions. Survival is peace. Strife is death. I shall remember to do unto all as I would have all do unto me. That is the way. Nothing more, nothing less.
Is there anybody else who'd like to go? Would somebody else like to go again? All right. Please welcome back to the stage, James Townsend. Oh, it wasn't last time.
So I do this now, like I travel around with these open mics all over, so I wouldn't be remiss if I didn't mention. I got a couple books in the bag, if anybody's interested. 3 of my 4 published books I have with me for sale. And I've got cards for how to connect with me on social media and stuff like that. So if anybody's interested, see me after this. So I did an open mic in Spring Green, Wisconsin last month, and I wrote this one in the car on the way out there. And yes, I text and drive, and I know it's not safe.
Oh.
I'm progress, not perfection. So, painted lines, green highway signs, reflection stripes and brush-colored brush, velvety violet gray asphalt on the ground, gravelly grooved concrete slush, beautiful traction. And I look around hard on believing, above the sun's beating, the air streaming, and the sound of tires and motors screaming. How the road can fill up the hollow inside, roads between here, there, and everywhere, stifling my running hide, deflating my polka dot parachute, and generally pacifying my jitterbuggy mind. So I don't give a shit. So I don't care about any of it. Is it mental masturbation, thought process subjugation, subjective signals and information, distraction, reaction, extrasensory perception dumbed down? And I frown because I lost my place. I lost the why I'm in this race. And then again, was it even a race in the first place, or just monkey shines all the time? Or is it all in my mind? Damn. Energy beaming, batshit country, rat-riddled, visual hallucination, audible paradiddle, telepathy steaming along, fortune teller, programming, rewiring, wrong. Code flaw, ball crystal mystic, some source sending misery, poison program psyche, energy algorithm pissing on me, duality interchange, one way a captive, one way free. Most days neither switchback even feels like me. Man, I shake my head, ears ringing in dread, tears in my eyes, blood pressure rise, and I tell myself to focus on the road ahead. Just fucking drive.
Thank you, James. Currently reading James's book, My Manic Mind. Is that the name of it, right?
Yeah, book number 2.
Book number 2, My Manic Mind. It's very good. I'm enjoying it. It's very personal, very earthy. I don't.
Visceral.
Visceral. That's the word I'm looking for. Yes, I was actually looking for that word. So I'm just going to do a couple poems tonight, and then we can call it a night. Youth is a barefoot girl. Youth is a barefoot girl in a sundress, running on a hardwood floor. It's a boy with glasses and a funny hat. Time is beautiful when you're young, causing you to fall in love with it. It excites your cells. Your face shows your infatuation. Youth exists only because time does, providing energy like a pantograph. Without it, there would be no innocence. There'd be no remembering, innocence second cousin. We might be tempted to experience life all at once, and 22 years old would last a lifetime. You would be wise enough to appreciate the full flush of life's newness. We'd have too many highs, too shallow lows to allow the satisfaction of frown lines. It would give us tempered days, making sun the color of mud. This next one's called A Lunch Companion. A penny in the A penny in the begging cup, offer to help when the project is done, advice given without listening, a text message late on Father's Day, all are symbols of your importance. A lone recliner is turned towards the TV, a green webbed lawn chair sits in the garage, a gray car sits under a tree at the park. The driver's newspaper sits on the dash, he lifts his cold coffee to his lips, lingers in the chirping of the birds just to hear the chatter. What is life but lonely? The elderly woman with the scarf on her head sits in the last pew. She mumbles along with the prayers. She shuffles for communion. The priest places the wafer in her hand, gives a smile that does not reach to the last pew. God talks to her through the scriptures, perhaps, but she needs a companion for lunch. Next one is swimming hole. They came to swim today, off the dock in the pond. The pond was empty, but they didn't seem to notice. I had pumped the water away, thinking they wanted a giant hole. The winterized boat sat tilted on its side in the sand. Putting my feelings in the top drawer of the dresser that sits in the hall, I stepped out of the warmth of the house. Closing my eyes, I walked up to my ankles in the silty mud. We talked of fishing as they stood on the shore. All right. Just because it's a small group, maybe I'll read this one. Cheaper Than Life. A sappy Steve Martin movie, the one where he has 12 kids, and even a sequel, made me hate myself. At the end, his daughter names her baby after him, a thanks for showing how to love. I tried. I thought, obviously I failed. With 12 kids, movie dad had heartache and made mistakes and yelled, almost like in real life. But unlike a movie, you can't love, you can love, you can hurt and be hurt and not have forgiveness or a happy ending. This is my third act. I don't think there gets to be a resolution or even a sad ending, just more wanting, more empty house, more desperation of silent begging, of accepting what I get. Because unlike a movie, you may get to have your impassioned monologue, your speech from the heart all to yourself. All right, we have open mic next month, third Friday. Love to hear everybody back and more poems. Probably gonna have to.
What date?
17th. I know things. All right, thank you, New Moon Cafe. Thank you guys for coming and sharing tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The assist.
Hi.